I just wanted to give you a couple of quick tips on the Obsidian from Mokwheel. And these are things that are related to menus you can get into and change a few things. First of all, if you want to get into an alternate view of the screen, all you do is hold down the down arrow and the light button at the same time, and it will give you a view where you can actually see your average speed and your max speed. And that's kind of handy. And then to get back to it, you just push the light by itself, the light button by itself, and it takes you back to the normal display layout with the speedometer and all that. And then if you want to go into another menu, you push the up and down arrow at the same time. These are the ones that adjust your pedal assist. And by holding them down together, you get into this sub menu, which gives you brightness. So you can change the brightness on your screen. It gives you your units if you want to switch between metric and English. And startup mode, this one's pretty interesting. I'll go to that last. Reset trip, that's your tripometer. Language, obviously be careful with that one unless you want to enter in everything in Chinese. And then your version is just your software version. I don't want to go down into that right now. So I'm going to take it back up to startup mode. And to select, you push the power button, this one up here, and that takes you into this menu here. Now in free mode, you can actually use the throttle to make it go, and you can use the walk assist. But if you go into safety mode, or safe mode, which I'm gonna go, well, okay. And by the way, to get out of it, to get out of those menus, you just don't do anything, and after 10 seconds, it'll flip back over to the main menu. It'll save all your settings and flip back to this. So going back into this to show you what safe mode does, we just saw that with free mode, you were able to use the throttle. Safe mode disables the throttle. So if I let it go back into its main menu here and don't do anything, it's going to save that setting in safe mode. And then I'll find that not only does the throttle not work, but the walk assist doesn't work either. So I'm going to pick it up and you see I'm pushing the throttle, nothing's happening because we're in safe mode. So then you have to pedal to get the torque sensor to kick in and have the motor kick in. So just a couple of quick little things about the Obsidian from Mokwheel. If you like this video and you want to see more tips and tricks, please subscribe. We'll see you next time.